as far as your approach to preparing for a negotiation, it's clearly worked for you over the years. What are some of the fundamental elements that you think, others could benefit from learning?
I think most important is really understanding all of the parties involved. You can't always know everything about them. I don't look people up online and find out how long they've been in business, which probably isn't such a bad idea. I probably suggest it these days now that all that's available to us. It was not 39 years ago, so we didn't even have computers in business. So now you could do a little more in depth. How long have they been in business? I don't really care where they grew up. I mean, I'm not looking to overanalyze people, but understanding, first of all, their personalities, I think, is vital. I think whether they are aggressive or passive, and then understanding their goals. Because if I understand where both sides of the deal want to end up, then I know how to try to work my way in to meet some kind of middle ground.
Right.
Also, if someone needs to just win, then that's going to that's going to change how I approach my initial offer.
Sure. So what's an example of a time where you've seen some parties butt heads and you were able to jump in and make it work?
So I would say if the sides are both aggressive, if they're both passive, it's easy, because then I could be aggressive for them, right? I love that, bringing that little harder mode. But if they're both aggressive, I think that's where people need a broker, someone brokering the situation for them to try to bring the temperature down and get people to be willing to work more together. And so initially, I think if you have the opportunity, some personal greetings and a little nice conversation to kind of bring it in, like, we're just people here, right. We don't need to be animals here. And if they take it too far, I've had no problem very nicely not reprimanding someone, but saying, listen, let's not heat this up unnecessarily. Let's talk about what is driving your stance right now. What is it you need? Mm-hmm. Just tell us what it is you need, and then we can decide if we can meet you halfway or make that happen. Right. So, and I don't know, maybe it's the mom or the woman in me that I want to put my arms around the situation and the people and just say, just bring it down.
Right. So have you ever been in the process of a negotiation, sitting at the table with different parties, and then mid-negotiation you're like, oh crap, I have to completely shift things up? Or, how do you, act on the fly like that? What are some of the strategies that you've deployed over the years?
Yeah, 100%. Sometimes I'll ask for a pause. Not even if I need it, but thinking maybe one or the other or both sides need it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Let's just take a break. Anyone need a cup of coffee? And we'll come right back. And that gives people a chance, without asking for it, to have a little private conversation.
Right.
Where do things stand? And let them maybe reset a little and come back knowing it. Because when you're sitting here face to face, it's tougher to do that. It's tough to talk to your side.
Sure.
I've seen it happen before. So actually one time we were doing a negotiation with a giant national tenant. I represented the landlord, and we had to do it by phone. This was before virtual calls. Right. We had to do it by phone.
Right.
And there were 6 people in Baltimore with their broker on the phone, and there were 4 of us from the landlord in 4 different states. So none of us were even in the same room.
Right.
That was difficult. You can't read eyes. Yeah. You can't get a feel for what they're saying. And it hit a point where it wasn't great. And we had a female lawyer, a female broker, 2 female lawyers and a female broker, and a male landlord on my side. Mm-hmm. but all in different states on different phones. And the other side said, you know what, we're going to put you on mute and discuss this a little. That's what the tenant said and their broker. And they're all in the same room. They have that advantage. I would never do that again, where one isn't together and the other is. That was a learning experience. And these women, these go off on, one of the attorneys pregnant, and the other one's nursing, and they start having this conversation. And I'm thinking, they didn't say put us on hold. They said mute. They were listening to the conversation the entire time. And finally, I didn't know what to say. This is 25 years ago.
Sure.
I didn't know what to say, and I just finally said, ladies, they said mute, not hold. And everything got silent. And they still took a few minutes. They came back on, and someone said, Anne, you were right on. We really enjoyed that conversation. Oh, my God. But in the end, there was a little laugh. Mm-hmm. And a little bit of bringing the temperature down.
Sure.
Not on purpose. It was really embarrassing.
Right. Wow. I mean, that component, we're all human, and
it happens.
It helps. Right.
Yep.
So I like everything that we covered up to this point. I think that was pretty solid. Is there anything else you think is like a critical pointer that you'd want to throw in?
I think.
On the paper here?
I would just say relationships are vital.
Yeah.
And in any way that you can relationship prior to or even during a negotiation really helps. I think what people respect in my way of doing things is they trust me.
Yeah. They
know that I'm not a big game player. When I say something, I make it happen. When there's an issue, I come out and let them know. I do try to make everyone walk away feeling good and not just absolutely cream them and just try to squeeze water out of a stone. Right. I think in the end, when brokers or negotiators go too far, I think you just want to walk away, even if the deal's done. Mm-hmm. You're exhausted. You don't feel good about it. Right. And if it's a buyer-seller, then you never have to see them again. But when it's tenants and landlords, they have to live together in one way or another for 5, 10, 15 years. Right. So if there's a way, without writing a blank check, to have people leave feeling good and feeling like they got close to or enough of what was a fair deal, if they feel it was fair, and there wasn't name calling and there wasn't yelling that's unnecessary, it's a win-win. I think it's a good one.